You finally reach the number you've been chasing for decades. $1 million. You look at the screen again. $1,000. For a moment, you feel something you haven't felt in years. Relief. You think about all the mornings you woke up early, the overtime, the promotions, the sacrifices, the vacations you skipped, the things you wanted but decided you could live without. It was all supposed to lead here. $1 million portfolio. So why don't you feel rich? Why are you still checking the market every morning? Why does a bad week make your stomach tighten? And why, despite having more money than you ever imagined having at 25, does retirement still feel strangely far away? The answer is uncomfortable. $1 million can make you wealthy on paper, while keeping you poor in real life. Not because the money isn't real, because the way you built your life around that money may be the real problem. And after 50, that distinction becomes more important than almost anything else. Imagine you've just turned 58. Your investment accounts have grown steadily for years. You have a retirement account, a brokerage account, some cash, perhaps a little real estate. When everything is added together, you're comfortably above $1 million. Friends would probably call you successful. Your younger coworkers might even assume you figured life out. But every month, you still need a large paycheck. The mortgage taxes keep rising. The cars need maintenance. Insurance costs more every year. Your adult children occasionally need help. And your lifestyle has slowly become expensive enough that reducing your income feels frightening. You aren't broke. You're something else. You're dependent on the paycheck, dependent on the market continuing to cooperate, dependent on everything staying relatively normal. And that's when you discover the first problem with $1 million portfolio. The size of the portfolio doesn't tell you how free you are. Your expenses do. Think about two people. Both have exactly $1 million invested. The first person spends $90,000 every year. The second spends $40,000. On paper, they're equally wealthy. In reality, they're living completely different financial lives. The first person needs the portfolio to produce a large amount of money every year. The second person needs much less. A market downturn might be uncomfortable for both, but it can be devastating for one. That's because wealth isn't simply what you own. It's the distance between what you have and what you need. The larger that distance becomes, the more freedom you have. The smaller it becomes, the more fragile your financial life becomes. This is why someone with $500,000 can sometimes sleep better than someone with $2 million. The number isn't the whole story. The life attached to the number matters more. You might remember when your lifestyle started changing. It probably didn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happened gradually. Your first raise made life a little easier. Then another raise came. The old car was replaced. The house got upgraded. You started eating out more often. Vacations became more comfortable. Then comfort became normal. And normal became necessary. That's the dangerous part. A luxury doesn't always remain a luxury. Eventually, it can become an expectation. You don't think of the larger house as expensive anymore. It's simply your home. You don't think of the expensive car as extravagant. It's simply what you drive. You don't think about the monthly subscriptions. They're just part of the bills. And suddenly, the $1 million portfolio you worked so hard to build isn't buying freedom. It's funding a lifestyle. There's a difference. A very important one. One evening, you sit down with your retirement statements. You calculate everything. The portfolio, the house, the savings, the expected Social Security income. For the first time, you try to answer a different question. Not, how much money do I have? But, how much does my life actually cost? The answer surprises you. Maybe you need $75,000 a year. Maybe $60,000. Maybe less. Then you look at your spending and notice something. A surprising amount of your money isn't buying happiness. It's buying convenience. It's buying habit. It's buying things you stopped noticing a long time ago. That doesn't mean you need to become extremely frugal. It means something simpler. You need to know which expenses actually matter. Because every unnecessary expense has a second cost. Not just the money you spend today, but the future income that money could have produced. A $500 monthly expense isn't really just $500. Monthly expense isn't really just $500. Over years, it represents thousands of dollars that never get invested. And more importantly, it represents another reason you may feel like you can't retire. Now imagine something else. The market falls. Not forever, just temporarily. Your $1 million portfolio becomes $800,000. Nothing about your house changed. Your health didn't suddenly change. Your family is still there. Your daily life looks exactly the same. But the number on the screen changed, and suddenly you feel poor. That's when you realize how much emotional power you give in the portfolio. Your confidence rises when the market rises. Your confidence falls when the market falls. Your lifestyle depends on numbers you can't control. This is one of the strangest traps of modern wealth. You can spend decades trying to make your money work for you, and eventually become someone who works emotionally for the money, checking, worrying, comparing, reacting, waiting for the next market update. That isn't financial freedom. It's financial dependence with a larger balance. A few months later, you meet someone who retired with far less. You expect him to be nervous. Instead, he seems calm. He lives in a modest house. He drives an older car. He doesn't travel constantly. He doesn't talk about investments. You ask him how he manages. He shrugs. I don't need much. That's it. No complicated strategy. No secret investment. No prediction about the market. He simply built a life that required less money. And suddenly, you understand something. The goal was never to build the largest portfolio possible. The goal was to build the largest gap possible between what you own and what you need. That gap is where freedom lives. This doesn't mean you should stop investing. It doesn't mean everyone should live like a minimalist. It means you need to separate wealth from appearance, because after 50, the temptation to look successful can become surprisingly expensive. You start comparing yourself with people your age. Who has the nicer house? Who travels more? Who drives the better car? Who retired first? Who has the larger portfolio? But comparison creates a strange problem. There is always someone ahead. You can have $1 million and feel poor next to someone with $3 million. That person can have $3 million and feel poor next to someone with $10 million. The number never ends. Eventually, you realize the game itself is the problem, because if enough keeps moving, you never arrive. One morning, you wake up earlier than usual. The house is quiet. You make coffee. Instead of opening your investment account, you sit outside. You think about what you actually want from the next 20 years. Not the next 20 years of investing, the next 20 years of life. You want time with your family. You want fewer obligations. You want to travel sometimes. You want to wake up without an alarm. You want to help your children when they genuinely need it. You want to stay healthy. You want ordinary mornings. You want choices. And suddenly, the $1 million looks different. It's no longer a trophy, it's a tool. The question is no longer, how can I make this number bigger? It's, how can this money help me live the life I actually want? That is a completely different financial question. Perhaps that's the real problem with the $1 million portfolio. People spend decades learning how to accumulate money, but almost no time learning how to use it. They know how to save. They know how to invest. They know how to increase their income, but they never stop to ask what all that money is supposed to accomplish. So the portfolio grows, the lifestyle grows, the expectations grow, and somehow, the feeling of being financially secure doesn't grow with them. If that sounds familiar, the solution may not be another $1 million. It may be a smaller life, not a worse life, a more intentional one, a life where every dollar has a job, a life where your home serves you instead of the other way around, a life where your possessions don't determine your identity, a life where your investments create choices rather than anxiety. Eventually, you understand something that would have sounded strange when you were 30. Getting richer and feeling richer are two different things. You can increase your net worth while increasing your financial anxiety. You can increase your income while reducing your free time. You can increase your portfolio while increasing the lifestyle that depends on it. And you can have $1 million while still feeling like you need more. But you can also choose differently. You can decide that enough is enough. You can reduce the expenses that don't matter. You can stop competing with people you don't even know. You can protect your time. You can build flexibility into your financial life. And slowly, something changes. The portfolio stops being something you have to protect at all costs. It becomes something that protects you. That's the difference. $1 million isn't freedom by itself. Freedom begins when your life no longer requires you to constantly chase the next million. Because the richest thing your portfolio can eventually buy isn't another house, it isn't another car, it isn't another vacation. It's the ability to wake up tomorrow and know that you have choices. And after 50, that may be the most valuable form of wealth you can own.